Happy winter solstice, my friends. Today we welcome the first day of winter, which means that it is the shortest day and longest night of the year, but it is also the return to light. So each day from here on out is going to get a little longer in terms of daylight as the earth begins her tilt back towards the sun. This is a beautiful time for so many traditions and rituals across so many different cultures, and it's really fun to incorporate them into your own. It's also a really beautiful time to come into your own self-care practice rituals. So today I am offering up a really short sequence for you to reflect, to reset, and to dream forward. The winter solstice provides us this really phenomenal time to look back on not only the season before us, but the year that was in the past, and also to just reset, to find balance in terms of where you're at right now, and then to dream forward and set new intentions and goals for your future season and future year. In today's practice, I'm going to be giving you a ton of silence. This is really going to be offered as a time for you to reflect, to reset, and to dream forward based on your own unique experience. In today's practice, I am going to be using a couple of yoga blocks. I'm also going to use a yoga bolster. So if you don't have either the blocks or the bolster at home, then pull some pillows off of your bed. You could even grab a really nice comfy blanket or some towels and use those in your practice today. I also highly suggest incorporating crystals into your practice. It might be just one crystal. Personally, I'm going to be using 3 crystals today, 3 different sets of crystals to really symbolize reflecting, resetting, and then dreaming forward. And for reflection, I'm actually going to be incorporating 2 crystals. So I'm going to use rose quartz, which is the stone of self-love. It's a beautiful stone for intentions of self-confidence and any self-work. So as I look back on the past, I'm definitely going to be pulling this into my practice just to have it near me, maybe even place it on me, and really do some self-work. I'm also going to pull in some selenite, which is a super cleansing stone. And I actually truly might incorporate selenite through all 3 phases of this practice today. I use this surrounding intentions of cleansing throughout so many practices. And so this is a really great one as you look back and maybe clear some baggage from the past, truly reset in the moment, and then moving forward, use this to continue just to have that cleansing energy. The second stone that I'm going to be pulling out is lepidolite. Lepidolite is known as the stone of transition, and it's a beautiful stone for any dream work, intentions, anytime you're going through any transitional phase. And just a tip, this is also one that I keep near my bed because it is phenomenal for sleep work. The third stone that I'm going to be pulling out is citrine. Citrine is known as the happiness stone. It is a stone that you can come to all of your intentions of joy, intuition, abundance. So this is a beautiful stone for moving forward, not only into the new season, but we're coming up on the new year, right? So this is a great one to set any goals of abundance moving forward, whatever they may be. So this I'll use in my dream work section. We're going to be started today laying on our back in supported bridge pose, and I'm going to use my yoga block for that. So I'll meet you on your mat once you gather your things in just a moment. Welcome to your mat. I'm so excited to get this practice started with you. Before we lay down on our spine, I just wanted to show you what I'm doing with my crystals. So I've placed them all towards my mat so that it's easy access when I want to grab them. For bigger pieces, like this more massive rose quartz piece, this one I'm not going to be able to place on my body during practice, right? It's way too heavy. So if you have larger pieces like this, I would definitely suggest just strategically placing them around your mat wherever it is that you're kind of called to have them. I'm personally going to place this rose quartz and the selenite moon that I have here at the very top of my mat. So right by my crown chakra, so that it is within my energy spectrum, within my field while I'm practicing. A little piece like this rose quartz point, I'll definitely utilize and place on my body either by holding it, placing it at my heart center or on my belly or at my third eye center during practice today. So each of the stones are right up here just so that I have easy access to them. And to get started in supported bridge pose, you'll want to grab either your block, or if you're using a pillow, maybe you can roll it in half. You might even use a blanket or towel for this. So grab your prop and then let's lay down onto our spine. Draw your heels in towards your hips so your knees point up to the sky. The soles of your feet are on the ground. And then press into the soles of your feet. Lift your hips up to the sky. Your prop is going to go underneath your hips. So it's right underneath your sacrum. And you can then adjust and either keep the soles of your feet on the ground, or it might be better in your body to stretch your feet away from your body. If you take this version of the pose, I would definitely just tap into your lower spine and see how that feels. My personal preference is to keep the soles of my feet on the ground. And then I'm going to grab my smaller rose quartz point, and I'm placing this at my heart center. Take your hands and place them both on your belly, so both palms to your belly. Close your eyes. And exhale your breath out. Take a really large inhale. Feel your heart lift upwards as you do. And sigh your exhale out. So my intention for this practice today is to truly offer you some silent space so that you can be within your own thoughts, so that you can set your own intentions, and you can truly use this as your own personal winter solstice ritual. So as we move into each of these poses, I'll absolutely guide you both in and out of them and offer up just a little practice within each pose. But please, please make this your own in both your heart, your mind, and your body physically. Just listen to yourself and what you're needing. So as we are here in this practice of reflection, truly a lot might come up for you. You can use this time to think back any period of time, so maybe back to the fall season. What's come up for you since the fall equinox? Or it might be a time of reflection on one instance in your life, or truly the past year as a whole. And I urge you, for as much heavy that comes up with your reflection, to please, please also find some gratitude for your life where it's at, for the people in your life, and for the way that you show up for yourself. And if you ever feel that you need a break within your thoughts, just allow yourself to come back to this gentle rise and fall of your breath. And begin to shift your thoughts lightly over your next few breaths, just back to your body physically right here, back to your breath. And as you shift back and away from those thoughts of reflection, before we transition into some resetting, I urge you to just come back into that reflection for one moment with a thought of gratitude. Overall, this past period of your life that you've been reflecting on, obviously may have offered some heavy times. It's just the nature of life. Equally may have offered some happy times. Find one thing, even if it's a little thing, that you are grateful for this period so that we can say thank you before moving on. And you might even choose to really hold your crystal in your hand as you find some gratitude on this place. And if you are practicing with a crystal, you can go ahead and place that next to you off to the side just so that you don't lose it. It doesn't fall off your body as we transition. So to move out of supported bridge, if your legs are extended, draw them back in towards your body. Then press into the soles of your feet. Lift your hips up and off of your prop. Take your prop out from underneath you. Just place it to the side. And gently lower your hips back down to the earth. And tuck your knees to your chest. Come into some movement, whatever feels good to you, whether that be a gentle sway side to side, or you might circle your knees clockwise and counterclockwise. Then drift your knees over to one side or the other towards a fetal position. Drop them to the side. Extend your arm out long. Rest your head on your bicep for a moment. Then send your palms to the ground and press up away from the floor. Come on up to a seated position. So we're going to move next into a bit of resetting. This part of your practice might be way more silent even within your own mind and thoughts. I just wanted to point out a little bit of a note about practicing with crystals before we move on. So you truly may or may not feel actual vibrational energy from these crystals. Some people do, some people don't. For some people, it takes a little bit of time to tap into that kind of energy. I wanted to point out, though, that I absolutely use crystals in my own practices, and I teach about using them as your symbol of your intention. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later, how you can incorporate that into your life moving forward. But if you're not feeling anything, physical changes or a physical reaction from these crystals, I don't want you to be hard on yourself. That's absolutely okay and actually quite normal. So continue just to keep this with you as a symbol of whatever the intention is that you're thinking about, and I promise that it will pay off for you. We're going to be moving next into a pose called butterfly pose. So I'm just taking my crystals that I used to reflect and I'm placing them to the side. I'm going to grab my lepidolite, which is what I am using as the stone of transition, symbol, intention of resetting things right now. So for butterfly pose, you'll draw the soles of your feet together, and it might feel really good to place a little prop underneath your hips. So if you're sitting on a little towel or blanket, you could roll that up. You could even roll your yoga mat up, or you might take a separate towel or blanket and sit on that just to elevate your hips a little and really even out your spine. You might use your yoga blocks or another set of props that you have underneath your knees. If they feel like they're kind of putting some pressure on your hips, then support them by coming underneath them with some props. And then another way that you can use a prop here is either with yoga blocks or with a pillow or bolster in front of you. So for me, I'm going to place this bolster in front of me, and I'm also going to utilize a yoga block there to get started. And you might change this up throughout the pose. I'm going to hold my lepidolite in my hand for now, and I might actually end up placing it in front of my forehead or my third eye center once we get started in the pose. So find a little length through your spine and close your eyes again. Take a big inhale breath. And then on your exhale, if it feels good in your body, you can begin this gentle walk forward, maybe even reaching right and left as you do, just kind of swaying it side to side. And as we enter butterfly pose, we are not trying to push the stretch at all. You're trying to find that place where you notice your stretch, but it's not too much. It's at that spot that's just kind of right. You feel the stretch in through your muscles. You don't feel any strain through your joints. And you notice it, but it's not necessarily difficult to stay here. And if you'd like, you can place the crystal just kind of in front of your forehead. This is also a place where you could hold your crystal if that feels better to you. Exhale your breath out. And find a really large inhale once more. Just notice that opening through your back body as you take your breath. And sigh your breath out, let it go. In my personal practice, truly the way that I find the easiest to reset and to be with neutral thoughts is to focus on my breath. That might mean counting your inhale and your exhale and just finding a cadence that is your own personal rhythm. You might focus on the texture or the sound or just the sensation of your breath. And if your thoughts do drift, then just allow them to come right back to your breath as you notice. Now that we've been in this pose for a little while, you might be craving deepening it a bit. There's definitely a few sensations that can come up, and that's one of them. As we're here for longer, gravity takes over and it allows our body to melt into the pose more. Sometimes we also have the opposite effect and our limbs begin to tingle a little bit. So if you are craving deepening the pose, then you can definitely adjust your props. So I'm going to take my crystal off of my block and then move that out from under my forehead. I'll place my crystal back down in front of me on my bolster. If you do get tingly in through your limbs, then you can absolutely unravel a little and shake them out and then just head right back in. And come right back to your breath. ready to unravel, just slowly begin walking your hands back towards your body. Round up one vertebra at a time. Take it super slow. And let your head come up last. You might flutter your eyes open a little bit. And then take your crystal and place it to the side. So I'm going to utilize my bolster in this next pose for our dreaming pose, our pose moving forward. We're going to take a pose called supported fish. We are right back on our spine. So supported fish can be done several ways, and I'm going to show you first with yoga blocks in case that's what you're working with, and then I'll show you with my bolster or pillow. If you are utilizing blocks, you're going to place them lengthwise along your spine. You might use one underneath your head, or you might be more comfortable just allowing your head to come down to the earth. So you'll place it back behind you. I'm just going to scoot my bolster out of the way, and then you'll roll down onto your block. And I'd say the most difficult thing about practicing with a block here is just kind of finding that sweet spot where it feels okay along your shoulder blades. And I kind of hit it the first time, but you might need to really just adjust your body on it. Your head might be comfortable down to the ground, as I mentioned. So you can see that my heart's lifted, and it's the most lifted area of my body. Or if you want your head to be even with your heart, then place another prop underneath it. Your legs can stay out straight in front of you, or it might feel good to come back to butterfly and draw the soles of your feet together, open your knees out wide. So that is the pose utilizing blocks. If you are using a bolster like me or a pillow, then you'll place it back towards your hips. This is a pretty long pillow, right? So I definitely place this right up against my hips. If yours is a little less long, then you might have it directly underneath your heart. The point of this pose is, again, to lift that heart center upwards. So I'm going to roll right back onto it. And find that adjustment again where it feels good along your spine. Decide where it feels great to place your legs. And then if you are practicing with a crystal, you can hold it in your hand. You could place it at your heart center, at your third eye center, back behind your head. I'm going to hold the citrine in my hand. Once you get settled into your position, exhale your breath out. And on your next inhale, truly lift your heart up to the sky. Sigh out your exhale. We're here to dream forward, to set new intentions. Nothing too concrete, nothing too detailed. Just allow this to be a time where these thoughts, these dreams come in and out of your head. Moving into this next season, or into this next year, however you want to look at it, this next period of time, what is enticing to you? What is calling to your soul? Where would you like to head? And it truly could be more of the same. It could be something completely different. So again, just allow whatever thoughts pop in to get you curious. And again, notice that you can always come right back to your breath if you need. Begin to bring your thoughts back again to just physically where you're at right now in your body. Possibly the most easy thing to help you get those thoughts back there is just drawing your thoughts back to your breath, back towards that rise and that fall of your chest, of your heart. And again, a moment of thank you to yourself. And if you're practicing with a crystal, you can place it down next to you. If your knees are open wide, draw them back close together, and then extend your legs long. Press into your forearms and your hands to lift yourself up and off of your prop. And then take that to the side. You're going to come to a seated Sukhasana position, just crossing out your legs. And place your palms down onto your thighs. Close your eyes if they're open. Just a moment to remember how you have showed up through it all, through every single memory that you reflect on. That is the constant. Just a nod to the fact that you will do the same moving forward. And flutter your eyes open. Thank you so much for practicing with me under the winter solstice, my friends. I truly hope that this served you very well. And I just want to let you know that you can come to this practice anytime. It does not need to be the winter solstice. This is a very strong one. Anytime that you are looking to reflect, looking to reset, and then excited about dreaming forward and just really kind of perk up where you're at. I also wanted to share with you some ways that you can utilize these crystals, as I promised. So, as I said, you may or may not feel some vibrational energy from these crystals at first when you begin practicing with them, and it truly might take a little while before you do. Whether or not you do, these crystals that you're utilizing are extremely strong symbols of your intention. So they're beautiful to keep around you or to place in your space in areas that you're going to notice them as reminders of today's practice. You might place the crystals that you used as reflection as a reminder of this past period of time or the gratitude that you have for something in the past. And truly utilizing these crystals in your space that you're using in your dream work is so powerful. So if I keep this near my desk every single time I look at it, I'm going to be reminded of what my intentions are surrounding it. And you can absolutely pull these back into your practices anytime that you care to. So again, thank you so much for practicing with me today. I wish you a beautiful winter season, and I cannot wait to see you on your mat again soon.